everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. So today's video is primarily going to focus on the different kind of tools that are available for the product managers. What I've done is actually classified these tools into 8 different categories, and throughout the video you will see the emphasis is not to actually say that which tool is better in a particular category, but what are the advantages that obviously each of these tools gives you versus, let's say, another tool in the same category. And also each of the categories is kept a full product life cycle in the mind, right? So without further delay, let me just quickly first give you a highlight of the categories themselves. So we have 8 categories. The usual, I think, tools would be fitting under one of those categories, and then you can also find some clear-cut winners, I think, under each category that you might have used in the past, or are continuing to use currently as well. So the first category is market research category, and in this category, I would say strategy and product hunt and the likes of Statista are, without a doubt, great, sources to find out uh, about your product, like generally, like your product area. But the one that is very useful after, let's say, the product is released, or you want to like also maybe understand what your competitors are doing versus, let's say, what you are doing, and if you want to identify an area how good or bad the competition is, right? So G2 is another one that I use. I'll quickly give you a demo of, let's say, how I think I use Statista. So for example, for Statista, what I have done is that uh, here is the here is the basically a clean start to your search. So let's say you're working in the space is in the space concerning CRM, right? So what Statista will give you is a bunch of companies. It will give you basically reports. It will give you articles. It will give you all sorts of user reviews at one place. It tells you, for example, what are the different kind of paid and unpaid reports that are available. What I have used this tool primarily is for just to understand the breadth of coverage, right? To see, like, so if I am looking at, let's say, CRM software, can I basically get some insights on the total maybe market size, right? The total number of companies, right? Just to get an understanding of the revenue, right, of these companies. Some of these might be obviously paid because most of the user research companies would definitely ask you to subscribe to their services. But there could be some, for example, that you could use to see whether the market is growing or not growing, right? So here, for example, the revenue of the CRM software market in the United States for the last, let's say, 5 years, right? And looking forward into the 5 years, so you're seeing it's a growing market, right? Which tells you that you are looking at a product that is eventually going to grow with the external market, right? Another one that I like, as I mentioned, was the G2 software. So just quickly look into what G2 gives you, and I'm going to use the same example for G2, which is the CRM software itself. What it will help you understand is, if you look at the overall competitive space, right? What are the different kind of companies that are available? So you have your usual Salesforce, HubSpot. You have your Monday.com, a startup that is very good. It also gives you information on, let's say, the market segments, right? Pricing, right? So all in all, basically a very comprehensive list of the companies that are operating in, let's say, this space. Now, if I'm actually even drilling down further, right, which means I am actually trying to, let's say, get into understanding, for example, what each company does in terms of feature capability. So here, for example, I am looking at Monday.com, and I am looking at their, let's say, one of the features, right? It could be sales automation, for example, right? So I can directly go to reviews, or if I don't know the reviews, that I'm looking for, I can also go at features directly, right? So what it does is that it will give you a full list of basically capabilities that Monday.com, or Monday Sales CRM is going to provide. It gives you, for example, integration. It tells you what kind of automation is possible, right? So tool to actually understand the overall market space, right? Now, let me take you to the second category, which is the product discovery category, right? So, product discovery category, I think from a tool perspective, is a fairly new category. Usually, I think product discovery can entail talking to your customers and also like just getting a sense of establishing certain hypotheses, right? But in this space, for example, you have quite a few companies like Maze, Lookback, Dovetail, and Zeta.io. What I'm going to do is, for example, look at what Zeta.io gives you in terms of the capability, right? And basically help you understand from a discovery perspective what kind of different functionalities are present. So here, for example, Zeta.io gives you customer insights, product intelligence, and strategy plan. The features are, I think, more important here, right? I'm looking at, let's say, capture and centralizing my feedback, or I'm looking at strategizing my OKRs, or I'm looking at workflow integrations in general. And then I think my favorite part is this roadmap pop, which basically tells me that I will be able to build actionable roadmap, items. So what I like about this is that it is very visually appealing. Like it has a visual road mapping feature, that you can use. What it also helps you to do is that it allows you to create clear, visually appealing roadmaps, and then it also links it back to your product discovery, let's say stage. So maybe you are in the initial stage where you are trying to, let's say, just understand what the user preferences are. So you can basically have it under the strategic plans, and maybe assign it some kind of a timeline, right? And then these swim lanes, right, that you have, basically allows you to kind of dissect the features into, let's say, different categories, right? So do, I think, try it out. I think there are a bunch of videos also, if you go to the blog for Zeta, and I think it's a great, like, I think, tool overall. There's a lot of customization, for example, that is present. You can obviously do a lot of progress tracking, of all the different features. Can obviously do a lot of collaboration, right, which is a standout feature, for Zeta. Set up some milestones, right, and do a drag and drop. So I wouldn't go through the entire list, but I would say this, that this is by far the most comprehensive product discovery tool out there. Now coming to the UI UX, parts. So for UI UX, right, I have always believed that you have to basically speak the language of the designers. Let's put it this way, right? So your designers are the ones that are primarily going to use a lot of the tools, but you at times, depending on the scale of your organization, might also be required, and you might be pulled in, for example, to develop low fidelity or high fidelity mocks, right, for your customers. So let's have, I think, look at some of the tools that are there. There is definitely your old, old horse in terms of balsamic, right? It is obviously a tool that has been used extensively for wireframing. That much I can tell you. Uh, it has been around for almost like 2008 onwards. So I wouldn't say that it's a fairly new tool, but I think in terms of the capabilities, there are some limitations to it. it does give you, I think, both the desktop and maybe the cloud version. But in terms of the capabilities that I was saying it lacks is purely the collaboration side. It doesn't give you as many option, right? But nonetheless, I think if you are in an early stage company, right, and you are just focused on developing the user flows, right, of interaction, then I think this probably could be a good tool, to look at. The other tool, I think that is predominantly used, I think, across, I think, industry is Figma, and I think for Figma, obviously your designers would be very well versed with, like, what kind of branding they are using, and by branding I mean the font, the tools, the layers, the colors, right? So I think from that perspective, Figma is by far the most, I would say, comprehensive tool that is available for designers. Uh, I do believe that I think Figma also is slightly more difficult to learn for product managers, well, simply because I think the tool is not meant to develop. The tool is not meant to, like, kind of be learned at a very, like, let's say, short period of time. But once you do get past the initial learning curve, then I think really sky is the limit for this tool, right? Example, like, I think the other feature, I think, or the other part about Figma is its broader, like, I think, community that is available, right? And that community, for example, will from time to time keep on putting components out there, right? So I think from a UI UX perspective, it's important that you look at, I think, what your developers are doing and what is their preference. I will also quickly touch upon proto.io, which is a recent, like, I think, entry into this space, right? And again, like, I think this tool can help you, again, for all prototyping, of course, right? You'll see, I think, collaboration definitely plays an integral part in pretty much every UI UX tool. But what it does, I think, what I wanted to highlight is the amount of customization that you can do with this, the amount of, features in terms of collaboration and, let's say, building out and sharing, I think, right, as part of the collaboration. I think all of those combined together, I think, a pretty, I would say, good, tool for UI UX components. What I also want to highlight is that for proto.ai, right? I think so proto.io, you do have a lot of, I think, inbuilt templates. So let me, I think, quickly tell you, where you can look at, the template. So it has probably, I think, more than, I believe, around, yeah, I think it has more than, I think, 200, 300 odd templates. Yeah, this is what I was referring to. So 600 plus out of the box templates, right? And 400 for web apps and 600 plus for, mobile apps, which tells me that I think you are going to do very minimal customization, if you were to start with these templates, right? Do leave a comment. I think if you want me to basically cover any of these tools in details, I can do a separate, like, session altogether for this. Now, coming to, I think, the fourth category, which is my favorite category and also the most important category for a product manager, which is the roadmap planning, right? So roadmap planning, I think some of the tools that you might have seen already would be like Trello and Product Board, right? There are some, I think, that are fairly new, like Monzo, right? I am not going to spend a lot of time on this, but what I'm going to quickly do is maybe pick up, I think, the most recent one, give you, let's say, a glimpse of, what you can, do with this. Uh, I think the one that I personally have used is Trello. I have also, like, I think, seen. Uh, I've also seen, I think, what do you call Notion, for example. being used, right? And I think it is just the preference that you might have in an organization. Trello, for example, has this nice, like I think tile-like layouts, right? It tells you different ways to customize, I think, your items. The another, I think, feature, if I were to, let's say, look for Trello would be, again, I think collaboration goes without saying, I think, is an integral part, right? So, you can definitely look to, include your team members, for example, if you are looking at Trello as a, option. I think AHA is something that has been, like, I think, around as well. Let me quickly see. I think what has been. So I think word of caution for these tools is that none of these tools is a replacement, for, let's say, your standard maybe project management capabilities, right? It's not to say that you cannot develop, you cannot, like, let's say, uh, use one over the other, but I think over a period of time you will realize that organizations probably stick to maybe just one, and then as your team size grows, right, you are going to probably pick up uh, more and more tools, depending on, which tool is preferred by, let's say, the majority of the product managers within your company. So here, for example, AHA, right? I mean, I'm just straight away going to jump into what it does. It is, I think, definitely very, uh, it is definitely very like comprehensive in terms of laying out the product roadmap, right? And I think in terms of, like, the overall road mapping part itself, of course, it is giving you a lot of other features also, but I think what I am definitely looking at is this visually appealing, swim lane kind of a layout, right? So AHA basically, again, very familiar notion, like, I would say, layout where you have your tiles, and on those tiles, of course, like, you can create visually appealing, let's say, items, right, and then classify those items, right. So I think you are with me as far as, I think, the categories are concerned. We have just completed, I think, the roadmap planning, and now I'm going to, like, talk about the fifth category, which is the productivity improvement. Again, I am not an active user of, let's say, any of the productivity improvement tools like chat gpt or grammarly, simply because I think on your day-to-day work, right, you are not going to be using chat gpt, for example, for every, let's say, suggestion on your product feature, right. But what you could do is that, let's say, you have a very uh, large corpus of document that your team has prepared, and you want just a quick summary. You put all of that content, provided there are no legal hurdles, right. You put all of that content in chat gpt, which is available on open.ai, and then just summarize, I think, the entire document, right. So that is where the big use case of productivity improvement is there. Grammarly, again, like, you might use it if, you are drafting out emails as part of newsletters, for example. You might want to make it sound very professional, right. So you can use, I think, grammarly there. Other than that, I think, if I just quickly look at what else is there, I think OneNote, Notion, I think, all standard tools, right. So I think this is a very, like, I would say, limited list. If you want to go for a comprehensive list, product plan has an extensive list, so do check out that list as well. Now, coming to the analytics tools, which I also feel is an important category, and my, let's say, very close to product managers these days, because I think data backed decision making is now catching up, and has been around, right? but more so now for product manager, this is an important category of tools that allows the product managers to basically look at features, after they are launched, let's say, and how are the features actually doing. So Heap, for example, right? I mean, I am a big fan of Heap, right? And I have used, I think, Heap predominantly in most of the organizations that I have been part of. Heap is like advantages in multiple, like I think, use cases. One is that, let's say, you're doing a private beta, right, of your feature. You can set up Heap for your different environments. You can set up Heap for your staging environment. You can set up for your production environment. In your staging environment, maybe you can give it some sort of time, right? You can give it time to, let's say, 14 days after the launch, and you see how the product feature is doing. That is the capability that Heap give you. Across different environments, you can like create events, right? So here, for example, this is a relevant funnel event. You can get the list, right? I mean, a sign up page or a home page or whatever it is, right? This is uh, telling you that these are the events that are available. Now, the same events that I can do in a particular environment, as I mentioned, staging, I can look at these, before the launch, and any changes that I'm making in, like, let's say the color, or let's say the label of the, email where you're entering the email, I can monitor that. I can monitor it and I can see where is, let's say, the drop, right? So if I'm creating a funnel, for example, I'll know that, okay, after the homepage, there is a drop of these many users in the sign up, and then finally the submission of the form. So Heap is definitely the by far the most powerful tool that I have at least used in terms of seeing on your different product pages how is the user behaving, right? And as I also mentioned, you can configure it for your different kind of environments, which allows you to take a database or data back decision, right? And before, let's say, taking your feature to the production. Now, coming to the app development category, I think just like this category a lot, primarily because it allows you to generate some sort of a front end vision for your application. So some of the tools, or like the websites that are available are Bubble and Airtable. I think Airtable has been, like, a pretty famous one, and Just in Mind as well. So I'm going to give you a glimpse of, and I'm also going to call out the differences between Bubble, Airtable, and Just in Mind. So I think Bubble.io, fairly, like, straightforward. Again, for each of these app development tools or website, idea is that you build your prototype, you maybe launch it on a local instance, right? Iterate it by showing it to the customers, and then basically once you're ready, take it to the production. Why this is so friendly is because these are no code applications. You are not programming in HTML, CSS, right? Front end, languages. You don't have to know about all of that. There are going to be standard, I think, templates that will be available. So as I mentioned, right, you don't need to know anything about HTML or CSS, right? You can just obviously go and create your, prototypes. Now, I think in terms of the capabilities, right? I think Bubble.io and let me quickly check. I think Bubble.io and Just in Mind, right? I think so. Just in Mind basically gives you, I think, the capability to design both the mobile app as well as the mobile app as well as the web app. So you can, I mean, go through, I think, the entire, like, list of what it does, but then this is what I was talking about. It gives you the flexibility to design your web experiences as well as mobile experiences, right? And I think just like, I think, any app development tool, I think it is very powerful when it comes to the prototyping part. It also obviously has a lot of collaboration capabilities, gives you like out of the box maybe some integrations as well. But by and large, I would say that just in mind is based on my limited understanding, probably the tool that is looking at giving you capabilities to develop both mobile and web app. And now then finally coming to the last bit of category, which is the eighth category, and documentation tools, right? So here I wouldn't say that there is a clear winner, but I think what I've seen over a period of time is that uh, Confluence by far has been the preferred, I think, choice for a lot of, I think, companies. And specifically for engineering, I think I've seen that there is a lot of inclination to use Confluence. Like, obviously, there are your standard out of the box, maybe templates that are available. But I think it is the ease in which you can, let's say, create, I think, the documents around your releases or the documents around your planning or the document is generally around your product roadmap announcements, right? I think that is where it adds a lot of value. uh, I have used it and continue to use it. I don't have any preference. I do use obviously docs and OneNote from time to time, but that is about it, right? As far as the documentation tools are concerned, ease of use, I would say, is the predominant reason, I think, why you should probably stick to a particular tool. So I hope today's video was very informative for you guys in terms of understanding the different kind of you know categories of tools that are available for product managers. And generally, I think this is not a comprehensive, let's say, list of categorization. Feel free to leave comments if you are looking at covering, you're looking me to cover any particular category.